So change does not happen overnight. Tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're going to be the exact same version of who you are today because you're being this way on autopilot. I had to catch myself, correct myself. This is not who you are anymore. This is not what you do anymore. Welcome or welcome back. If you're new here, my name is LaQuisha and I'm really into all things personal growth, self-development, self-care, but you do not care about any of that. You are here because you want to see what is on the title of this video, which is how to rebrand yourself. In 2025, this is the extreme edition. And I say extreme edition because it's not one of those videos that you should watch if you are just bored with the way that your life is right now and you just want to switch things up, or if you are just doing good but you just want to do a little bit better. It's not that type of video. This video is the extreme edition because this is for the girlies who really are at a low in their life, or if you're at a point where you just really don't like the way that you've been showing up. This video is for you. So let's get right into the video. Before I start, I just want to give 3 disclaimers. 1, if I am out of breath, it's because I am 7, almost 8 months pregnant. So please show me some grace. 2, the quality of this video might not be the best because I am recording off my phone. And 3, the audio might not be the best because, again, I'm recording off my phone and I don't want to use a mic because the mic that I have is absolute trash. So I have to buy a new one. So just bear with me. I promise you that the steps that you're going to hear in this video are going to be worth it. Look past the flaws and see the quality that is in what I'm about to give you. So let's get right into it. I said that before, but really, let's get right into it. So let's talk about my own reinvention journey for a little bit, just because it gives context to the steps that I'm about to give you. So I have reinvented myself a lot over my life, and I'm going to continue to have to reinvent myself and rebrand myself over and over and over again, because that's just the way that life should be. Life is not meant for us to just continually be the same or to just be stagnant. Life is about growth. Life is about reinvention. Rebranding yourself, that's something that you're going to have to commit to doing multiple times in your life, okay? Okay. So the time that I'm talking about in particular was when I was at a really low point in my life. I honestly did not like who I saw when I looked in the mirror. But what's crazy is externally, I looked amazing. Externally, I probably looked the best that I've ever looked, but deep down inside, I was a mess. I was insecure. I was very jealous. I did not like being alone. So I was looking for just attention and validation in all the wrong places. Like, I really honestly did not like who I was. And it got to a point where I felt almost like, it sounds really dark, but like I just didn't see the point of living anymore. And when I got to that point, I was like, all right, you need to snap out of this and you need to change. I did these steps in the video, and this is how I was able to go from feeling very insecure, super jealous, just really needing validation, to being very comfortable. When I said that I love being by myself, baby, I love being by myself, which is ironic because I have a very big family and I have 3 kids, a 4th one on the way. So it's not really a lot of me time happening around here. But the point is, I don't have a problem with being by myself. Before, I used to hate being by myself. I love being alone, very confident. Like, this whole me sitting in front of the camera, out of breath, with bad quality, usually that would be something that would be like, all right, don't do that because you're gonna make yourself look a certain way, or like I would care too much about what people think. Baby, when I say I do not care anymore, I just don't care. Like, it is what it is. Either you like me or you don't. That's not my business. I like me and that's it. That's a big difference from who I was a few years ago. Like, I'm just the complete opposite internally. How did I make that shift? How did I become an even better version of me on the inside? Because that's what reinvention and rebranding yourself is really all about. I'm sorry if you hear demonic screaming coming from the background. I'm really trying to rush this video because it's time for my daughter to take a nap. But I wanted to get this done first while the sun is still up. So, is that gel? It is, don't mind that. Let's get into the steps. What had to happen in order for me to reinvent myself? What had to happen in order for me to become a completely different version than who I was was first I needed to be aware of who I was being. When I was at that low place in my life, I couldn't change because I wasn't aware of how I was acting. I had to really become aware of how I was acting in order to know that I needed to change in the first place, if that makes sense. Until you are aware of who you are showing up as, until you are aware of what needs to change, until you are aware of your current self. I know that sounds crazy, but you can be acting a certain way and have no awareness of the fact that you're acting that way. When I think about how I used to act, who I used to be, the things that I used to do, it's almost like, what in the world was wrong with you? But at the time, I did not think anything of the way that I was acting because I wasn't even aware of the fact that I was acting crazy, I guess, for lack of better words, in the first place. So you need to be aware of who you are showing up as. And then once you're aware of who you're showing up as, if you don't like that version of yourself, there needs to be the decision that you're going to change. And that's step number 2. I had to decide that I don't want to be this version of me anymore. I don't want to show up insecure or desperate or always feeling lonely or always feeling like I need to be around somebody or always seeking validation or approval or just jealous of everything or feeling like I need to compete with everybody. I don't want to be that version of me that doesn't feel good enough. And I was willing to fight the current version of myself in order to become a new version. If I needed to go toe to toe with myself in order to change who I was being, I was willing to do that. That's step number 2. You have to decide that the version of yourself that you are, if you are really willing to let go of this version, or if you are really willing to do what you need to do in order to leave that version in the past and become a new and improved version of you. And I was. If you're not at that point yet, where you're willing to literally go to war with yourself, and it's going to be hard to rebrand yourself and reinvent yourself. And I'm gonna double back on this because I'm gonna tell you why in a second. So this is step number 2. Step number 3 is that you need to have a vision of who it is that you want to become, who it is that you want to show up as. For me, it started with me really thinking about who I thought I would be when I was a kid. Like when you're a child, you just have this picture or you have this vision of who you think you're going to be when you grow up. I realized that I was nowhere near that version of me, but I went back to that and I tried to envision it. I tried to imagine it, and then I added on to it. And then step number 4 was that I needed to shift my mindset into that version. So I had to get clear on how that version would think, what that version would believe, how that version felt about herself, how that version would behave, and how that version just would show up. And getting clear on that meant that sometimes I just literally had to sit and just fantasize about that version of me that I wanted to become. The version of you that you want to be is not going to have the same beliefs. It's not going to have the same behaviors. It's not going to have the same feelings towards herself as the version that you currently are. I need to make a mindset shift, but again, I had to get clear about what that looked like. After the mindset shift comes the acting like it. That's step number, I don't know where we're at. I think number 5. I had to decide that I was going to start acting like the version of myself that I saw in my mind. You probably hear some hyenas in the background. That's just my kids. Don't mind them. So yeah, I had to decide that I'm gonna start acting like it. And I remember when I said that I was gonna come back to the fact of you have to be willing to go to war with yourself. That is because today you're gonna decide that I'm gonna change my life. Tomorrow you're gonna wake up and you're gonna still be the same version of who you are today. And that is because change does not happen overnight. That is because you are going to continually be the version of yourself that you are right now because you're being this way on autopilot. Meaning you've done it. You've been this version of yourself so long, you don't even have to think about being this version of yourself. You can wake up and just be this version of yourself because that's how you're programmed currently. So change does not happen overnight. Tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're going to be the exact same version of who you are today because you're being this way on autopilot. You've done it so long, you've been this way so long that you don't even have to think about being this way. Now, when you wake up and you do things that you don't want to do, you have to be aware. I'm doing that thing I don't want to do. I'm doing it right now. This is not who I am anymore. This is not what I do anymore. I do this instead. And then you do that thing. And you have to do this over and over and over and over and over and over again, correcting yourself. over and over and over and over and over again until the thing that it is that you want to be, who you want to be, the way that you want to show up, how you want to act, that is your first instinct. But again, it does not happen overnight. It's not an instant change. And I'm telling you this because I don't want you to feel like I cannot change. I don't want you to feel like it'll never happen. I don't want you to feel like this won't work when you revert back to the old version of who you are. Because it's normal. That's going to happen. I'm telling you this because I want you to know that it's normal. It doesn't mean that you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean that it's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that you're not meant to be the version of yourself that you want to be, that you know deep down inside that you really are. All it means is that this is just what happens. It's just a part of the process. But you're going to have to continue. Again, it's like sets and reps. You're going to be your old self. You got to catch yourself being your old self. Correct yourself. Tell yourself, this is not what I do anymore. I had to do this for myself. I would continue to show up as my old self. I would do something that was insecure, or do something that seek validation from something, or do something where I'm just acting like the version of myself that I didn't like. I had to be aware of the fact that I was doing it, catch myself, correct myself. This is not who you are anymore. This is not what you do anymore. And then I had to shift into the thing that I wanted to do. But I had to do that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again until finally I didn't have to correct myself because it was now. The thing that I wanted to do, who I wanted to be, was now my new habit. Sets and reps. So that is how you're going to rebrand your life in 2025. Yes, there are a few minor details that you probably need, but the majority of the bulk, this is the bulk. This is what is really necessary in order to change your life, in order to rebrand yourself. And again, I said this is the extreme edition. If you watch this and you are someone who is like, you're really like not at a low place in your life, these steps can still help you too. But these, again, this is the girls that you know for a fact, I need to change. Something about this is not working. I want to be a 10 times better version of me. Like, if you know that your whole life really needs a rebrand, then these steps are going to help you. Also, in order to help you, I have created a program. I took all the steps that I listed in put them in a program. It's called the Reinvent Yourself Accelerator. I'm going to link it below. It was free. Now it's not free, and it's not free anymore because I noticed that whenever for myself, when something is free, I don't really take advantage of it in the way that I should, because I didn't invest any of my hard-earned money into it. Versus if I pay for something, you better believe I'm going to get my money's worth. So it's not free anymore, but it is definitely worth it, I promise. I can link one of the videos where I talk more in depth about what's inside the program. If you're interested in seeing like what's inside of it, I'll link one of the videos below. Again, in the video, I'll probably say that it's free. It was free at the time. It's not free anymore. Okay. But in this program, everything that you need to really transform your life, to rebrand your life, to reinvent yourself. When I say that it is life-changing, again, this is everything that I used to reinvent myself when I was at a really low place in my life. I took everything that I did and I packed it into this program. So yes, it's definitely worth the money. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that the steps in this video definitely help you. I'm so out of breath. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you know someone who might need this message, might benefit from it, share it. Let me know in the comments if there's anything that you want me to talk about, any video ideas, because I am really struggling with coming up with content ideas, but I'm gonna do my best. That's neither here or there. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.